Hey, people wonder why my feeders are a little more expensive than a lot of the other ones on the market. So we're going to look at this feeder, we're going to go look at some other examples, and then we'll come back to this one and give you some information. Okay, it's kind of hard to see, but there is a side-by-side comparison with the thickness of the tubing that's used on a lot of the other feeders. And you can see there's a burr around the bottom here, but that top edge is smashed down to the thickness of the actual tube versus the two sizes that I use. And you can see it's considerably thicker wall. Another thing that I do different on my feeders, you look at this, where that pipe is smashed, as soon as you get a bend in this pipe, which is a lot easier to do on these than it is on mine, because it's so much thinner wall, as soon as you get a bend in that, now that pipe starts to wiggle back and forth on this weld. And after a while, as it wiggles on that weld, here's a better example. After a while, as that starts to bend back and forth on that weld where the tube's smashed, these start to crack out and rip out. And eventually the whole ring falls off and all of the bars come out. So back to my feeder. I cope the pipes, so there's nothing smashed, there's nothing flat. It's not going to rock back and forth on that weld and break it out. Again, the pipe is considerably thicker wall, heavier pipe, so it's not going to bend. I can stick my forks in this and pick it up and carry it around in the field, bouncing all over. It doesn't bend, it doesn't bow, it doesn't hurt it. Another thing I do, especially on these square feeders, a lot of other factories, they will cut the sheet metal big enough that it'll sit right out here on the flat of the pipe, because that's quicker and easier to do and to assemble and to weld. But what it does is it creates a pocket here for crap to get down in and rot the feeder out. Doing it this way, sure, it takes a little bit longer and you got to be a little more precise on your cut to make sure you get a good fit, but there's no pocket. Everything can just roll right off, top and bottom, so that it's not holding things against the sheet metal or against the pipe to rust them out sooner. So yes, my feeders are a little more expensive than most others, but I feel like they're worth it. I feel like I build a good quality product, and I would much rather have repeat customers because they're happy with the quality of my product and they need a second feeder than have repeat customers because my feeder only lasted a couple of years and now they've got to buy a new one. I would rather you pay a little extra for my feeder the first time and have that feeder last you many, many years than sell you a cheap piece of junk and have you come back every few years for a new one.